Well, hello, Nats fans, and welcome to another edition of the DoDCast Postgame Show. I'm Drew Douglas, and I'll be your host for tonight. And what a bummer this game tonight was. The Nationals lost 3-1 against the San Diego Padres, and the Nationals really got off to a great start early. It looked like it was going to be a big night for the offense, and after that, they couldn't get anything done. In the first inning, they had Travis Wood on the ropes, with Andrew Stevenson led off the game with a great at-bat, seeing 8 pitches before popping out. Adrian Sanchez, who was in the two-hole tonight, saw 5 pitches before striking out. Anthony Rendon had one of the best at-bats of the year, or I guess plate appearances of the year. He saw 13 pitches before drawing a walk. And then Ryan Zimmerman following him, but 8-pitch walk. And then Howie Kendrick came up with a 2-pitch flyout. So altogether, the Nationals saw 36 total pitches in the first inning. And the Padres actually had a reliever warming up in the very first inning behind Travis Wood. So Nationals had Wood on the ropes. He had a good year with the Cubs last year. This offseason signed a free agent contract with the Kansas City Royals, struggled a little bit, and then was traded to the Padres and hasn't done much better in San Diego, but he had a good game tonight. You know, after that rough first inning, he wiggled out of it and went on to throw 7 innings, allowing 3 hits, only 1 run, and even that run was unearned. So and then to go with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. So getting to the Nationals lines a little bit here, Andrew Stevenson was leading off. Originally, he wasn't supposed to lead off. It was Howie Kendrick in that leadoff spot, but Daniel Murphy was in the original lineup, was eventually scratched. I know after last night, I thought Murphy would probably get a day off because he just on this West Coast trip so far, he hasn't really looked right. He's been swinging some questionable pitches, which isn't like him, and just hasn't looked like himself for the most part. But yeah, he was in the original lineup and was scratched, but he was in the on-deck circle when the game ended. So Dusty Baker said they expect him to play tomorrow, and it appears that he was good to play tonight if they needed him. So Andrew Stevenson leading off went 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts. He made a great diving catch in right field in the very first inning. It looks like he's a little overmatched at the plate right now, but when on the bases, he's very fast. He stole his first base last night. He creates a lot of chaos on the bases, and he's played Gold Glove caliber defense in the outfield wherever they put him, whether it's right field as we saw tonight or center field and left field. He's been a lot of fun to watch out there in the outfield. Adrian Sanchez in the 2-hole, he went 1 for 3 with an RBI before being subbed out for Adam Lind. Anthony Rendon went 0 for 3 with a walk, as I said earlier, with a strikeout. And the strikeout at the end of the game is struck out looking in the 8th inning to end the 8th inning, and it was on a pitch low. It would have been ball 4, bring Ryan Zimmerman up to the plate against Kirby Yates, who he homered off of the other day. So that was a big missed call from the home plate umpire, but it happens over the course of a 162-game season. Ryan Zimmerman went 0 for 3 with a walk. And Howie Kendrick went 1 for 4. And Jose Lobaton went 1 for 3 with a bloop single, bringing his average to a whopping 158. So, yeah, the Nationals only managed to put together 3 hits tonight, and it really wasn't a great game from the Nationals offense at all. After they started off, it looked like it was going to be a big night offensively, but I think the big story tonight was Steven Strasburg coming back from the disabled list. It was his first start in almost a month. He went out through 6 innings, only allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, which was on a Youngevers Solarte home run, his 13th of the year, with 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. And he really, early on, he didn't look like he had his best stuff, but he settled in nicely. He got his strikeout pitches working really well, especially his changeup I thought was phenomenal tonight. One of the best changeups I've ever seen from him for the most part. And his fastball had good velocity. He was sitting mid to upper 90s, so all good signs. It appears he is back and pitching like his old self, which is huge, especially with Max Scherzer being placed on the disabled list yesterday. He's expected to pitch Friday, but this neck has kind of been it continues to be an issue. So if his neck continues to be an issue throughout the rest of the year, then Strasburg really needs to step up, and hopefully he's able to stay healthy, which he hasn't proven he's able to do in the past. But yeah, tonight he really looked great, so that was an excellent sign. After Strasburg came in Sammy Solis, who after being one of their best relievers last year, struggled a little bit this year, ended up on the disabled list, and then struggled some more. But lately he's looked phenomenal. And then today he came in, walked the first batter on 4 pitches and fell behind 3-0. Eventually gave up a single and then walked the third batter he faced. So he only faced those 3 batters before being pulled. He allowed 1 hit, which was a single to Corey Spangenberg, and 1 run on 2 walks. He threw 13 pitches and only 2 strikes. So wasn't a great night from Solis. Hopefully this isn't a sign of what's to come, and he's able to go back to pitching really well. And this was just an off night for him, which happens. But yeah, he definitely did not look good out there on the mound. And then he walked the bases loaded with no outs. And then Matt Albers came in and do a bases loaded no outs jam. And I was saying he's going to need to be Houdini to get out of it, and he really did pretty much like whatever he did more than what you could ask of him. He came in, got a ground ball, double play. The run came in, but he did get a double play, and then he retired the next batter. So he really limited the damage to only the one run, which was huge for bases loaded, no outs. And the thing I didn't really like, though, was Dusty Baker elected to keep his infield back. And I guess he was saying that he believes in his offense's ability to score 2 runs against the Padres bullpen. But they do have Brad Hand as their closer. He was an all-star this year. He's one of the most coveted relievers at the trade deadline. He's having an excellent year in the back end of their bullpen. So I don't know that I would have left the infield back. The batter did hit a ground ball to second, and they did get a double play. But if the infield's in, you can cut down the run at the plate, and that's a 2-1 game. And although the Nationals didn't end up scoring a run, so it didn't really matter in the end, those are the little things that can help you possibly win a game late in the season or in October. And then after Albers, believe it or not, Sean Kelly threw a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. Now, he was just activated from the DL with Ryan Madsen going on the DL, and he came in yesterday and really struggled. It looked like he has most of this year. And then today he had the 2 strikeouts and then retired the third batter. And so he got the results that he got last year. Hopefully he can continue to do this, because if he can even be half as good as he was last year, he can be a solid reliever in the Nationals bullpen. But if he is what he's looked like for most of this year, then he's kind of irrelevant and probably won't make the postseason roster. Check the chat. Red Sox fan says, hello, Al. Thank you for tuning in. He said, do Nationals fans feel with these injuries that the wheels are coming off? Yeah, it's a little rough right now with this lineup from today. It kind of resembled something you'd see in spring training. But we're getting positive reports on a lot of these guys. I think pretty much everyone except for Eaton and Ross should be back by the postseason. And so maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and these guys come back fresher come October. And it gives the Nationals an edge against whoever they may face come October. So, yeah, it is rough to watch right now with guys like Alejandro De Aza and Adrian Sanchez seemingly starting on a daily basis, and Andrew Stevenson. But, yeah, like I said, maybe it helps them in the end. So we'll go around the league a little bit. The other DMV area team, the Baltimore Orioles, they lost to the Angels tonight 5-1. J.C. Ramirez got the win for the Angels, and Kevin Gausman got the loss. And then Mike Trout and Luis Valbuena both homered twice for the Angels. Trout hit his 25th and 26th of the year, and Valbuena hit his 14th and 15th of the year. The Atlanta Braves lost to the Cincinnati Reds 11-8. Robert Stevenson got his first win of the year for Cincinnati, and Julio Teheran got the loss, falling to 7-11. You know, pitching in SunTrust Park, his home park, he's really struggled there this year. He's really 2 different pitchers on the road and at home. So tonight it was in Atlanta, and he struggled as he has most of this year in his home ballpark. Scooter Gennett hit his 21st homer of the year for Cincinnati. Brandon Phillips hit his 11th for Atlanta against his former team, the Cincinnati Reds. Kurt Suzuki, a former Nat, hit his 13th of the year, and Matt Adams hit his 18th of the year. Also in the division, the Philadelphia Phillies they're beating the San Francisco Giants right now, 11-4 in the 8th. The Dodgers got yet another win today, beating the Detroit Tigers 3-0. Ross Stripling got his 3rd win of the year, with Michael Fulmer getting the loss. He falls to 10-11, and Kenley Jansen got yet another save, which was 33rd of the year. The New York Mets beat the Miami Marlins 8-1 today. The Mets got to beat up on someone for a change. They're really struggling right now. We've seen them make a few trades in the last couple of days, trading Curtis Granderson to the Dodgers yesterday. He made his Dodgers debut today, batting 5th for them. I believe he went 0-4 in that. And Rafael Montero got a win for the Mets, improving to 2-8. And Vance Worley, who we saw in spring training, he got the loss, falling to 2-3, with both of his wins have come against the Nationals within the last couple of weeks. Wilmer Flores hit his 15th homer of the year for the Mets. Kevin Plawecki hit his first homer of the year. His role, you should see an increased role now with Rene Rivera getting traded to the Cubs today. And Dominic Smith hit his 2nd homer of the year for the Mets. It's a good game for the Mets. Go back to the chat. Judo Joker said he's not too worried because these are almost all minor injuries. And yeah, like I said, most of the guys you'd think, with the exception of Ross and Eaton, will be back. And maybe we even see Eaton. He's been saying this whole time he wants to be back for the playoffs, and maybe a role similar to what we saw from Kyle Schwarber last year. A couple days ago, we heard that Eaton has begun to he's begun hitting and jogging, so those are good signs. I don't know if the Nationals are going to want to push him to return, but it is looking like he's pushing hard to at least be in a position to return at the end of the year if needed. Go take a look around the Nationals minor leagues today. AAA Syracuse Chiefs lost to Indianapolis 5-4. AA Harrisburg Senators lost to Trenton 6-4. The Class A Advanced Potomac Nationals beat Winston-Salem 8-7. Class A Hagerstown Suns lost to Kannapolis 6-3. The Class A short season Auburn Doubledays beat State College 7-5. The Gulf Coast League Nationals beat the Gulf Coast League Astros 4-0, and the Dominican Summer League Nationals beat the Dominican Summer League Yankees 10-6. And a little bit of a rehab update. Enny Romero tonight pitched in his second rehab appearance for AAA Syracuse. And from Eric Galenti, who's the Syracuse Chiefs play-by-play announcer, he said that Enny Romero showed consistent velocity in his second rehab appearance. He's throwing 98 to 99 with 5 pitches at 100, threw mostly fastballs, which we've seen really that's what he's done on the big league level with high velocity as well. He allowed 2 hits, an earned run, and a strikeout, and he threw 25 pitches with 20 strikes. So that's definitely good to see that Romero's throwing lots of strikes and his velocity is up where he wants it. He had a forearm strain, and so you really you don't like to see that in pitchers. Usually forearm has some sort of correspondence to possible Tommy John, so I was a little worried, but obviously it's not. He saw a doctor, I believe he said he got some injections, and now he's back pitching, and maybe we'll see him within the next week or so up with the Nats, as he's now had two relief appearances for AAA Syracuse. And then kind of going back to the Nationals game tonight, the Nationals saw a ton of pitches early, but the one guy I didn't really like his at-bats tonight was Michael Taylor. I think he's not quite ready, returning from that oblique injury. He's played great defense, but he's kind of looked lost at the plate. And everyone was seeing so many pitches tonight and seemingly seeing Travis Wood well, but in Taylor's first 3 at-bats, he only saw 3 total pitches. And then in his 4th at-bat, in the 9th inning, when he struck out on a pitch in the dirt to end the game, he swung at the first pitch and fouled it off. So had that been a fair ball there, he would have had 4 at-bats with only 4 pitches seen. So I'd like to see him maybe see a few more pitches. And if you're going to swing at that first pitch, hopefully do something. Tonight he went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. But I'm not really too concerned about him. I think he's just kind of getting his timing back on the fly now, because I think in a perfect world he would still be down on a rehab assignment. But with so many injuries in the outfield, he's needed up here at the big league team. Judo Joker said, if it weren't for Will Myers, Rendon, Strauss, and Zim, this would have essentially been 2 AAA teams. And yeah, they know the Nationals are running out of team that you really see in West Palm Beach in spring training, and the Padres are struggling a little bit. They sent down Hunter Renfroe today, recalling Jabari Blash. So, the Padres don't have a whole lot of major league ready talent right now. They kind of hurt themselves with that whole Joe Ross, Trey Turner trade. Those are 2 big guys that could have up producing at the major league level right now. But that happens, and I'm glad to have them here. So, Al, Red Sox fans said, let's hit that like button and share. Drew's doing a great job. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Al. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you. I really enjoy doing these shows. Like them more after a win, but it happens. And yeah, kind of coming back to the game, Sammy Solis tonight. Like I said, he was pitching really well, and then he struggled tonight. I think maybe Dusty will try to get him back out there tomorrow, especially if the Nats are up or down big. Dusty likes to do that with a guy who struggles, get him back out there the next day and try to let him reset and to kind of get that bad outing out of his system. He really didn't look like himself tonight. I saw he was throwing early on and then had to sit down as Strasburg got out of the jam, and then had to get back up. Maybe that had something to do with it, although that's not really anything unordinary for a reliever. But yeah, he threw 13 pitches and 2 strikes. And really, if you can't find the zone and you don't trust your defense and just throw strikes, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to get hurt. he's lucky that Matt Albers came in and did a great job, only letting the 1-run score, and had Dusty pulled the infield in, maybe get out of there without giving up any runs. But yeah, really, it wasn't the Sammy Solis that most Nats fans know and love tonight, and hopefully that's not a sign of what's to come, and he's able to come back out there in the near future and perform. But with, like, let's say Andy Romero, he's on his way back. He's also a left-handed reliever like Solis. If Solis doesn't improve and he continues to pitch like he did tonight, he'll probably find himself back in AAA, at least for a couple weeks before rosters expand, because really this is becoming a crowded bullpen, especially if Sean Kelly is able to pitch like he did tonight. And there's not really any room for someone who's going to come in and only throw 2 strikes out of 13 pitches. So he really needs to improve if he wants to stick with the team. And I'm rooting for him. I'm a big fan of his. He pitched very well last year. He even pitched in every game in that NLDS against the Dodgers. So hopefully he's able to improve quickly and resemble the type of reliever he was last year and he's been over the last couple weeks. So we'll take a look at what went up on the site today. Ricky Keeler had an article go up about Sammy Solis emerging at the right time. Of course, it went out the day that Solis struggled, but that happens. Maybe Ricky jinxed him a little bit. He'll come back out in the near future and regain his form. And then Ron Juckett had an article about Max Scherzer's bulky neck earning him a DL stint. Like I said, he was placed on the disabled list yesterday, but he said he's not too concerned about it, and he fully expects to pitch again next Friday when the Nationals are at home against the Mets. So I'm hoping he'll be able to come back, and this neck will they'll be able to get rid of this neck issue, and it won't be an issue moving forward. But he has had it now on both sides, so that's a little bit discouraging. And hopefully, yeah, like I said, they're able to knock this out, and he's able to not miss any more starts after he comes back off the disabled list for the rest of the year, and then lead them on a deep postseason push. Tomorrow's game, Gio Gonzalez is taking the mound for the Nationals. He's been absolutely phenomenal lately. He had that no-hit bid in Miami, and then he had the no-hit bid recently at home against the Angels. So hopefully he's able to continue to pitch well against the Padres tomorrow and go out and get a series win. Judo Joker said, what do you guys think about the umpire thing? And yeah, Ian Kinsler from the Detroit Tigers, he was unhappy with a call the other day from Angel Hernandez. And he voiced his opinion, he basically said Angel Hernandez doesn't belong in the major leagues and he should find a different profession. And Ian Kinsler was handed a hefty fine, but he was not suspended. And the umpires weren't happy that Kinsler didn't end up suspended. And so now, starting today, most of them, I saw one umpire who wasn't wearing the wristband, but most of them wearing a white wristband in protest of Kinsler not getting suspended. So there have been a few calls recently that have kind of been blown out of proportion a little bit that Kinsler called. There was a call on Ben Zobrist earlier this week in Houston. It was a pitch almost in the dirt, called for strike 3. We saw the call in Rendon tonight, which he wasn't happy about. And we saw Max Scherzer and Bryce Harper really upset in the dugout. So there have been some questionable calls lately, which you're always going to have that. It's kind of the human element, but lots of players have been voicing their opinions, saying that they're not happy with the umpires and they'd like to see robot umpires in the near future, which we've kind of heard something about for a while, but it's never really seemed like really a possibility before now. But now with so many players complaining, the league might be forced to go out and possibly at least give robot umpires a try. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. A lot of people say that there's no shot, but a lot of people also say that they'd love to see it. So maybe we see MLB give it a shot in like the minor leagues or the Arizona Fall League, as we've seen them try with like things such as a pitch clock and just experiment with it, see how it works. And then if it works well, then actually bring it into major league play. So I think if they were going to go to robot umpires, it would still have a human umpire behind the plate. If you'd have an earbud in or an earpiece, and someone would tell him based on looking at one of those strike zones that you see on TV, or if you have the MLB at Bat app, someone would look at that and tell the home plate umpire through an earpiece what the call is. But you still need an umpire out there in case of a play at the plate. So yeah, it'll definitely be something to keep an eye on over the next few years. And yeah, our Red Sox fan said umps need to know that they're part of the game, not the game. The umping has been umping, in his opinion, has been awful this year. And yet there's certain umpires, or better than others. We've seen earlier the Nationals were really unhappy with CB Buckner. And yeah, if the umpire is going to have a bad zone, I don't really mind that as long as it's consistent. If you're going to be given a ball off the plate, then players have to adjust because whatever the umpire calls, then that's what the call is. But if it's consistent, then the players know, okay, he's calling that. I have to fight it off and see another pitch, which the Nationals have some guys that are excellent at it. Anthony Rendon, as we saw tonight, fought off a ton of pitches. He had that 13-pitch at bat in the first inning. Jason Worth is excellent at it. It's just part of the game. As long as the umpire is consistent, you can't really complain too much about it as long as it's nothing, outlandish, like a pitch in the dirt or a pitch up at your eyes or a pitch you're getting out of the way of or something. So, yeah, I'd like to see maybe the umpiring improve a little bit, but they are humans. Everyone makes mistakes. And if it's consistent, it's going both ways, then it will help you as a pitcher. And so I don't know if they will go to robot umpires, but it has become a hot topic of discussion recently. And lots of guys are definitely voicing their opinions on the subject. So we'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like and subscribe on YouTube. If you'd give us a like on Facebook. And if you'd follow us on Twitter at District on Deck, and if you want to follow me at Twitter, you can follow me at DrewRD98. So it was really a rough game for the Nats tonight. It looked a little flat, only managed to get 3 hits, didn't take advantage of a big situation in the first inning. And really, I thought that was kind of the story of the game tonight. As we saw last year, they struggled a little bit with runners in scoring position, but they haven't experienced those same issues for the most part this year. But, tonight they obviously couldn't take advantage of big opportunities and really ended up costing them as they lost 2-0, or they lost by 2 runs after not taking advantage of a big opportunity in the first inning. So, tomorrow's another day. You got a 4 o'clock start tomorrow with Gio back on the mound. He's been outstanding. And hopefully they can go out tomorrow and get a series win in San Diego before the off day and heading to Houston, which should be a big series. So Ron will be with you tomorrow. Just definitely tune in on your Sunday afternoon. He's always great. And maybe he'll be able to get a win, as I've been struggling a little bit recently. So from everyone at District on Deck, I'm Drew Douglas, and have a good night, everybody.